Pit break or stop.
Here we go, guys. It's Tuesday again, and you know what that means. Time for episode 70 Comic Conversations back at you on this vidcast. We are live here on YouTube. Also, tomorrow we'll be streaming this episode available for you on iTunes. And I misspoke last week. I said that this would be episode 69. That was actually episode 69. This is episode 70, so that's a milestone in and of itself, if you ask me. So we made it this far, folks. That's pretty cool. So we got a lot to talk about tonight, some cool things. Conan's in the news. We want to talk about some of the changes that have been happening with Marvel recently. There's been some mix-ups, some things like staffing-wise and then book-wise also. We're going to touch on that. And just recently, the December sales for ComiChron were made available from Diamond sales and everything. So we're going to kind of break that down and see what we can garner from that data, some interesting things. And I actually have a couple of things I wrote down that I wanted to call out on that. Spidey's here, of course, and then a whole bunch of other news. And then the other thing we're going to do, which we were doing last season, I'll call it a season, is, right, we're into season 3 now, is actually the book reviews. So we're going to continue with that. And we asked you what books. Well, we gave you 3 options. Votes came in on Twitter on the poll, ended this morning actually. And Image Comics book, Ice Cream Man, actually won. So later on today, we're going to be talking about this book here, Ice Cream Man. If you're curious about the book, our thoughts on it, stick around because we're going to be talking about that later on in the show. We'll do a little bit of catch up here, but first we got to give some shout outs because, that's how we do here. It's important to shout out our folks. We had a couple people actually who were here before us, but Jason Smith was first, so definitely give him the Marvel No Prize. Fish Tropic is here as well. We also have Philly Superman, Gomez, a comic collector. We have Comically Flawed. I feel like I haven't seen Comically Flawed in a while, so
he's been hiding. He's been
hiding. Okay, he's been hibernating, right?
So, it's cold up in the mountains.
That's right. Nice to have you with us, man. Nice to have you back. I'll say that. Also, Brian B is here. Comically Flawed said he's been up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And then Brian says the movie and those mountains are both awesome. Absolutely agree. Chris Lorenzo is here. Hey, Chris. Nice to have you with us. Also, Cat Ren Figures shouting out Gomez there. So that's pretty cool. And then I just saw NES Master 80. So folks are rolling in. If you got questions for us or anything else, just let us know and we'll do those shout outs as well. Oh, Rob Wise Guy's here. And then Caddy Kings just popped in as well. Cool. So let's go ahead and let's see what you guys have been doing. $5 shipping. That's right. Let's see what you guys have been doing since last Thursday.
Jason, are you selling stuff in the chat again?
Yeah. Everybody bid on the Marvel No Prize.
Yeah.
And then he'll ship it to you. That's a lot of postage. It comes in an envelope.
Right.
So to add up to $5 on postage, that would fill up the whole envelope, right?
Well, it would be crazy. I guess it would get there tomorrow.
It would have to be really fast, right? Yeah. All right. But what have you been doing in the past week? Anything fun and exciting in your neck of the woods? Or cold?
No, just been cold. It was, like I said yesterday, my local comic shop was closed, man. They never close. They're even open on Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything. And it closed yesterday, which was a good thing because if they didn't, I would have tried to go. I would have tried to make it there.
Right in the snow. Yeah. You got snow tires or anything? You got a snowmobile?
I got all-wheel drive. So
okay. There you
go. It'd be all right.
Yeah.
But nothing too crazy.
Okay.
I did, I'm excited to talk about Ice Cream Man later on. I did read that this morning. Totally not what I expected, but we'll talk about it.
All right. Cool. All right. So you've been keeping warm than hibernating yourself. So, all right. We got Mr. Boston Chris over here. How you doing, man?
What's up?
Boston Chris Comics.
Yeah, I changed my name.
That's right. There we go.
For everyone who doesn't know, my last video, I went ahead and officially said that my name is now Boston Chris Comics.
Sweet.
Can still be called Buckshot if you like. It doesn't bother me. I just figured, just an easier way to get around the channel and have people, not be confused as to what is this Buckshot thing all about. So it's just you know what? stick to it. Boston Chris Comics. But yeah, for me, just you know, pretty much same old stuff. I you know, just kind of working and everything else. Nothing too spectacular. I did, however, like, so I'm benefiting a little bit because of my birthday falling, I guess, at this time of the year. My local shop decided to go ahead and run a sale, and so it's just like, you know, with you know, a little bit of extra birthday money and stuff like that, I was able to get a bunch of stuff, and did some dollar bin hunting, got some pretty good books and everything. So I have a few videos to make based on all that type of stuff. But, you know, just tough part is getting time to do it. Just because, you know, being a dad is not quite the most schedule friendly thing in the world. It's just like, you know, but, you know, it's still learning and getting into it. So I just, you know, do my best to get on, guys, and make a video for you. As I have to show you guys my 2018, you know, top 10 list and all the rest of that stuff. So it's just like, there's a lot that there's a lot of content I have to make, and it's coming. I promise you all, but it's just kind of, you know, slowly getting, you know, being worked out.
Cool.
Yep.
So be looking forward to those. Heading on over to his channel as they post. Hit that little notification bell, so when he does have time to upload them, you'll know right away. So
hit that bell.
And then so for me, you know, I actually went to for the first of 2018 a comic convention down in Miami. So that was pretty cool. It's a smaller one. It's run by the same people who. So there's a couple big shows like MegaCon. I'll throw a Celebration in there, the big Star Wars thing, but they're skipping that for this year. And then down here in South Florida, the biggest con organization is SuperCon. So they do that in the summer. And I guess just sort of to appease people, they do something in the winter as well. And it's called Paradise City Comic Con. They've been doing that, you know, a couple years now. So, you know, I checked that out. And it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, I went Friday. I don't usually get to go on Fridays because of, you know, my 9-to-5 job.
Right.
But this year I bought a 3-day pass, ended up going on Friday, which was really cool. I got to check that out, get like, you know, first dibs in some of the dollar bins and stuff, you know, because, you know, by Saturday or Sunday, most of like the good shit's cleaned out, right? So you got to get in there first. So it was cool. I felt like I got to do that. Got to meet like, you know, a bunch of cool like Lucio Perillo, Vanessa Del Rey was there.
Also, guys, if y'all haven't checked out Jesse's Instagram, he took a ton of pictures. They were great. I mean, the cosplay that showed up there, man. A lot of people did a great job, especially for January to come out of nowhere with their cosplay. That was really cool.
Yeah, no,
fireworks.
Sure.
Surprised.
Oh my god!
You know, you said that it was a small con, based on, you know, just the quality of the cosplayers and how many of them that you had. I was just like, small con. I mean, that looked kind of significant, you know, with the amount of people. And there was some really, really good costumes on there. Like, I was surprised at some of them. I was like, these look almost professional, like, you know, just the way that they come about. So really cool stuff.
We have a really good thriving cosplay community down here, and then people come, maybe just because it's Miami, but from like all over the country. Yeah, especially for the summer one. But that's one thing I like to go and look at the books, obviously, you know, go down Artist Alley, but I also like to like shoot video and like take pictures and stuff, you know, and as you can see from the Instagram. But that's kind of one of the things I like to do when I go, you know, just sort of like a hobby-ish sort of thing with the photography. But yeah, so that was fun. That was Saturday. And I even though I had the 3-day pass, I didn't go on Sunday. I was just too kind of beat from it. So got a problem with one of my knees. So
cons take it out of you, man.
I hear that.
Concrete basically the whole time. You know,
if you
walk miles in a day, really.
Yeah. And for a 3-day con, I mean, that Saturday is a doozy, man. You know, like when you know, Boston Comic Con or Fan Expo, whatever they want to call it now. You know, Saturday's a tough one. Like my wife was talking about. She's like, you know, we should go and I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that. I was like, because, you know, Saturday is tough. Like there's no, you know, and that would be like pretty much the only day she'd be able to go. Right. Like, you know, there's a lot of people. There's just a lot going on, and it's just like, you know, cons you got to be ready for, especially, you know, when you have books and stuff that you're trying to get signed to. It's just like, you know, your bag gets heavy, then you start buying books, and it's just like, it definitely takes it out of you. It's not a, you know, nice little, you know, oh, let me just go and enjoy. Like, for some people it is. Other people who are there to buy books and get stuff signed. You're in for a whole day, and it's a long day, and there's not a lot of places to sit. It's just like standing in lines, all that type of stuff. It's you need to be prepared. So
yeah, you got to strategize. One thing that I do is I like if I go and get a bunch of books, or I have books signed. Like actually, I got a few here. I'm going to show them on a video, but these are all I got there really quick. So I got all these signed by Dan Slott. Then what I did, because I had like the case I had them in to protect them, I brought them there, put them back in. I brought those back to the car right away. And then I had my hands free, from that. So it was one less thing to have to carry around. And of course, less people bumping into it. So little things like that definitely help. But let's see here. So Comically Flawed said all kinds of crazy cosplay on Instagram. Yeah, I did post a bunch of pictures. If you ask me, they're pretty cool. And he said, did you get a chance to meet Declan Shalvey at the con? Really briefly, his table was all the way at the end. So there was Declan, and then Robbie, and then Jenny Frizen was there, and then Joelle Jones. And they were bouncing around quite a bit from like some of the panels and stuff. So with him, it was basically just a hi, how are you type of a conversation. That's it. But yeah, I did see him there. He was there. So that was cool. And that's pretty much it. I got some cool little info from Dan Slott. I had a nice kind of lengthy conversation with him about a few different things. One of which was who the hell is the Red Goblin? And are you actually going to be staying beyond 800? Or is that just a marketing thing? So that was cool. And then somebody brought him a Monopoly board, a Spider-Man Monopoly board to sell. And he had like John Romita, all these people that had signed it and done little remarks on it and stuff. So that was pretty cool to see. And I actually have a picture along with the cosplay of that. But I thought that was a really neat idea. It gives you a lot of space for signatures, and it's within the comic realm because it's a Spidey, even though it's, a Monopoly board, but cool idea. So yeah. And then I see that we have Edwin here as well. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys?
Doing well. Just doing a little bit of catching up here, seeing how folks have been in the past 6 days.
Yeah, I've been pretty good, man. Actually, starting this Friday, Freestyle Friday, episode 2. I think from here on out, I'm going to start giving away some free comics. What I'll do is probably give away. We'll do it like I did last time with the affordable auction. With the free stuff, I'll just ask questions throughout the show, and we'll put them in a randomizer. And at the end of the show, we'll give away a free book or a run, or haven't figured it out yet. But I did grab this. I got this is my second copy this year, but I'm probably gonna have to sell it because I got too much into it already. But I grabbed another first Gambit. And this one's in pretty high grade, man. It's at least a 9.496. It's just one tick away from a spine tick away from being a 9.8. But you send it to CGC, it might come back as a 9.8. Who knows? But it's super clean, super sharp.
Sweet. All right, well, that'll be exciting. That's tomorrow then, right?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern-ish.
Right on. Episode 2.
I'm sorry. 8:30 Eastern-ish. Probably run at the same time as we do it here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cool. All right. Well, that'll be fun. I know last Friday was fun. So
it was good. Yeah.
Definitely check that out. So
Adam said that was the that X-Men's free, right?
No. No, sir.
Free Gambit. Nice. All right. So let's jump into the topics. The first thing we got is something that's pretty cool. It's been a long time. They used to have this. Finally, it's coming back, or you could say whatever you want about it. But Conan is heading back to Marvel Comics starting January 19th. It's going to be publishing Marvel. So it's been with.
Kind of weird because there's Wonder Woman Conan right now.
Right. Yeah. They're it's with Dark Horse, the rights right now. So yeah. So there hasn't been any creative teams or official title announcement or anything like that. But CB Cebulski, he's just kind of new into the EIC role, but he said, and I have the quote here, from Barry Windsor Smith to John Buscema to Neil Adams, a legendary lineup of amazing artists brought Conan to life in the pages of comics. It's a legacy we're now going to live up to with the talent we have lined up for the Sumerian Barbarians' homecoming in early 2019. We're excited. So eventually I guess, into the summer probably we'll finally learn, or fall really, we'll learn who's going to be on the book. But actually at the panel I was at, they had a Marvel panel, and Robbie Rodriguez, he's the guy who does Spider-Man, creator of Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's coming off the book in a few issues, and he said that he's lobbying very hard with Marvel. I said Marvel. With Marvel, right, to get on that title. So he's lobbying for them, and I don't know how much sway he has, or if he can, but apparently he's in contention for Conan. So, take that as you will. What do you guys think? You excited about Marvel taking Conan, or you kind of nervous about like what are they going to do with him? Like you don't want him working for S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything like that, No,
I think they can do good things with him so long as he has to have his own universe. Like he shouldn't be interacting with any other Marvel characters. Keep him in Samaria. Let him do his thing. Make some. Bring back some iconic villains and stuff. Make some new ones, but just keep him out there. Let him do his thing. Like I don't think that he really needs to mix in with the Marvel universe in that way, just because it wouldn't. I mean, it just wouldn't mesh well for his story. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see that they're getting the rights back, and it's cool to see. To hopefully see that they get a good team on it, and just try to keep it in a good direction. Don't try to like make it too much for kids. Just make it something that is I guess true to the movies and stuff that we grew up with. That's what I'd like to see. I mean,
yeah.
Who knows?
Did you guys read that recent volume of Hercules where he was like bumming on his friend's couch, taking on jobs?
No.
Oh, it was bad. Oh God, it was bad. But I'm just kind of worried that they might like have Conan be doing something like that, which I don't want. But the precedent is there for them to take a classic character like that and just make him into this like whatever you want to call it. But it was just a bad. Did you read it, Justin? It was a bad book, Hercules.
No.
Yeah, good. Don't read it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's gonna be weird you're gonna have Conan, Hercules, and Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Are they just all supposed to hang out all the time?
Right, that's what I was thinking. That would be weird.
Are we just gonna Are we gonna retcon that Conan was like an ancient Asgardian or something? I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, who knows? But keep him like Brian B said it. Marvel Max, like keep him like we need that edge to him,
Yeah.
But also keep him in his own world. Just keep him away from 616, away from whatever. That's where he's best, just in his world. So
there's a what if Conan battled Thor or Thor battled Conan?
Yes, yeah.
It is probably one of the best one-shot stories from that era that I've ever read, because it is completely not what you expect from that book. It's so much better. So much better.
Nice.
You mean
comically flawed said he's only interested in if it's Conan the Librarian.
Yes. Dude, Chris, show that again.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at him.
Nice. He had that ready to go.
That's
Did you guys rehearse this?
No. I'm just bagging a bunch of stuff because, like I said, I have a bunch of stuff to show off over the next few videos I gotta make. So that was amongst the stuff that I was able to pick up. But yeah, I've seen this book a bunch of times. I never got a chance to read it, but thought it was pretty cool. Like I have, as far as Conan goes with the What If series, is what if Conan, lived in now, basically. He becomes a pimp. It's actually pretty funny.
A pimp?
Yeah. He becomes like, he doesn't realize being a pimp is wrong, but he's hanging out in like New York City with all these like scumbags and stuff like that, and he's just like, he's like, this is pretty good. You make money doing this. I like this. This is pretty cool.
I'd read that.
and then there's another one. What if he battled Wolverine, which is where you kind of see that crossover into worlds. And I don't really know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I know. Yeah, big berserker and Wolverine, and then you get Conan, this ancient warrior and stuff. It's just, I don't know, like it just seems like, I mean, if they fought, it's too different they're too different in style to like really have a good fight, at least in my mind, you know. So it's just like I'd rather see him, you know, just take on, you know, like even if you wanted to bring like and then it's another guy from that era, like Cole the Conqueror, that would be a good fight. Like that I can see because they're on a level playing field. They're you know, very similar. But yeah, I said Conan, he's not a pimp now, but in that book he becomes one because, you know, for him, like, you know, just being a street level criminal was fun. Because I mean, if you look at Conan, he's kind of a thief. He's kind of a he does a lot. Even though he's a great warrior, he's also kind of a, you know, guy that does stuff for money. So he's not above stealing things or being a criminal here and there. And so, you know, you're in the late 1970s, early 1980s, New York City. And he just happens to be around some pimps and something. He's like, you get money for doing this? Like, this is what you do? I like this. I'm going to do this. And it's pretty funny.
Interesting. Haven't heard of that.
Conan versus the Hulk.
Yeah.
I think that would be over very quickly.
Actually, you know what? Conan versus World War Hulk, I would like to see. That I could see.
All right. Everybody remembers that Conan's just a man, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guy.
Yeah, but he gets brutal, man. He'll do things that He-Man won't do.
Yeah, but he said Hulk. He said Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be
He-Man,
over.
you know, they're doing a new He-Man movie, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I saw that.
David Goyer's directing it, and I think it starts filming this spring for a 2019 release. So
I think I wonder the Dolph Lundgren blunder that they made.
Apparently he's tied to the movie, not as Conan, but he's going to be something in the movie.
No way, really?
Yeah.
What does he got to make up for that horrible movie from the 80s?
Hey, Jackie will like that movie. So take it up with Jackie.
Hey, that was the only movie we've ever gotten. So
it was bad.
I like that one.
With like
that doesn't mean
random characters that were never in anything.
Yep.
They
the
had
fact that they spend like 2 minutes on Eternia and it looks like a desert.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the rest of the time, Courtney Cox and them are trying to fight in like malls, and there's a weird random midget who wasn't Orko at all, and it was just like, it was a strange one.
Control looking thing.
We can play the the Universal Key or something like that.
Yeah. It's like a basically like a little musical
keyboard.
activity, and that like, you know, makes dimensions open up, and I understand that they had a great idea to make us to make the movie and everything, and it's funny because like Tom Jane on this documentary was talking about Drew Struzan had drawn the poster for the book. I'm sorry, for the movie, and he was just like, you know, looking at this poster, it's crazy. And if you look up the Masters of the Universe movie poster, it looks awesome. And he's like, I still want to see that movie. He's like, what we got was not that movie,
right?
But
exactly.
Hey, if they can make up for it and do it up right, I'm all for it. I would love to see a good Masters in the Universe movie.
I feel like, you know, this is a time in movie world time that, you know, that the cheese will be taken out of it. It may not be a good movie, but it won't be like as cheesy as a movie per se. So that's kind of my take.
Yeah.
So we were talking with Conan, just kind of like keep him into his own world, right?
Yeah.
Play a little bit
Savage
of
Land. He could go to the Savage Land.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
You know,
Fight
have him there
dinosaurs.
with yeah.
You battle Kazan.
Devil Dinosaur. He could fight Devil Dinosaur.
Right.
That might be
Or like Sauron. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That could be his villain.
With a
There
mind
you go.
control.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's write this book.
But once
you
you
figure
start,
it out, Marvel, you're welcome.
Yeah, right.
but once you start dibbling and dabbling, it just opens up doors for. Because then people are like, well, why don't you have Magneto in there? He created the Savage Land.
No.
Conan was always a mutant. He has a healing factor.
Wolverine likes to go to the Savage Land.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, you know, playing a little bit of devil's advocate, there's a title that I'm gonna say I liked it, but I only read a few issues of it. It was it came out right around, I guess, a year ago through Dynamite. Amy Chu is writing it. It was Red Sonja. Right. I don't know if you guys read it or not. And again, I only read a couple issues of it, but she basically was in her time and then something happened and she came into like modern day New York City. So it was kind of like a fish out of water sort of story. But
oh yeah, I think I did read that.
It started, yeah, I think a lot of people got it because J. Scott Campbell did it one of the covers.
Yes, the first covers, yep.
But it started off, you know, decently, and you know, for that at least, and you know, it's a Red Sonja, so you know, kind of draw some comparisons there. It worked for me at the time. So again, playing devil's advocate, if they were going to go a route like that, assuming they do it right, it could work. But
who knows, man?
Yeah. So you know, go ahead.
No, I was thinking of something else. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, as that news comes out, you know, news drops, we'll bring it to you. So. Next thing we got for you is a bunch of shakeups and stuff have been happening at Marvel. You've heard us talk about, you know, Axel. We talked about CB Cebulski. We talked about a bunch of other people coming and going, basically. John Nee is the latest one. He is a new publisher for Marvel, and he is replacing. He's stepping into the role that Dan Buckley had. Dan was promoted to president pretty recently, so that spot was open. They're putting John Nee in there, but we're seeing a lot of changes around, and we're going to talk about this in a second because after this is the ComiChron piece, but a lot of changes around, issue numbers changing, things getting axed. They're bringing in, you know, some new ad type of, you know, look and feel to things. Do you guys? Is your perception of Marvel changing at all because of all this? Like, do you think that they're moving in the right direction from where they were, or
Marvel hasn't moved in the right direction in a while?
Yeah. Okay. So even though all these shakeups and changes, you're still saying no, that's the wrong way to go.
It's too hard to tell. I mean,
yeah.
They've done a lot of things that, you know, I guess best for business. They've done a lot of things that people really haven't liked. I'm not gonna say that you know that they haven't done anything good at all. I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's really, I think it's more of the guy who was in charge before that. I think it was more his way of doing things, because he was just, you know, he's more of a businessman than he is you know, a creator, and it's just, you know, taking things kind of in that opposite direction. You know, change, all the changes have to amount to something. That's what it comes down to in order for it to be, you know, seen as, you know, good. And so right now it's just kind of, you know, you just gotta hold your breath and hope that it works out. Because I mean, you know, putting different people in there and all the rest of it, I mean, while it can be good in theory, we don't know. I mean, it could be.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because I'm ignorant about this. What exactly is the publisher responsible for?
What do you mean?
Like just publishing the books and getting them out, or
is he like just the guy who makes sure that they get printed correctly? Because the editor is the one that goes over everything. So what does the actual publisher do?
Yeah, because Jim Lee's a publisher over at DC.
Yeah, no, he's the guy who's over the whole process and makes sure like the editors answer up to him. Everything, he makes sure that everything gets done up and put out on time.
Yeah, and I think outside of, like, you know, the president and stuff like that, like like how Joe Quesada was, like Joe Quesada had final say on everything. I think that he's basically the step right before the final say is, you know, I mean, they just determine what books are getting canceled, what books are going to get picked up, and all the rest of it. So it's just, I mean, they have a pretty big role. It's just, you know,
there you go.
The biggest thing is just trying to figure out, you know, what it is that they want to what it is that they actually want to do, and whether these changes are just, you know, kind of like just like a facelift to make things feel good, you know, or at least just lip service to make everybody like, oh, this is going to be great, or if it's actual, you know, good change going forward. So, I mean, I would just say patience is going to be the way you have to go with it.
Yeah. I pulled up the press release here. It says, as the publisher, John will lead our business strategy for publishing as a whole, which is what you're saying here, and focus on growing the comics and prose business, so novels and comics. All business aspects of publishing report up to John Nee. Creative and editorial planning will still have oversight from Cebulski, Joe Quesada, and myself being Dan Buckley. So that's kind of how that works. So he's doing business and overall strategy for publishing, which is basically what we're saying to you guys. And then editorial and creative is Cebulski and Quesada. So there you go. Okay. That's kind of how it, the two different pipelines, verticals as they call them.
Indeed. Which, I mean, realistically,
I mean, was there a problem before or what?
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm like, was there a problem before? Or, I mean,
well, there was people with bad ideas of where they should drive the company forward in those roles. So mismanagement, bad creative decisions, things like that. So
yeah.
No, but I mean, okay, but we're talking about changes at Marvel and things like that. But have we actually gotten to see any changes yet? Books are written months in advance. Dog's choking. So he only took over, a month ago at best, month and a half, something like that. So I don't even know if we've actually got to see any of the changes that he's trying to implement yet.
Yeah. For Cebulski?
Yeah.
He's kind of one of the ones leading the charge with some of the axing that we're seeing recently.
Right. Which
above and beyond that, not really. Like you said, it hasn't really been enough time.
Right. Now the cuts, that's a big key though to what could happen and a new direction for Marvel,
Exactly.
It allows them to save money, put people on other projects, things like that. So we'll see.
Exactly. So that is a nice segue to the next piece. We finally get the December estimated sales through ComiChron. So that's pretty important for people who track such things. We already know that books like Hawkeye, Iceman, Jean Grey, Gwenpool, a bunch of others have been chopped. And basically, there's a couple that we'll talk about in a second here. But, it's interesting to look at the top sales. And I guess what I can do, because I have it pulled up already, is screen share it here so we can look at it. It's of course interesting to look at, what were the top sales, but in my opinion, it's almost more interesting to look at knowing what books were cut and the numbers there, what other books have not been announced that have numbers below that. And there are a few, but we can see here. Let me just skip on down. All right. So typical top books are going to be Doomsday Clock, Dark Knight's Metal, right? Event stuff, Phoenix Resurrection. What did I say? I think I don't know what I said. Batman is up there, of course. Spidey, and this one, number 8. I love that this is up here. Marvel 2-in-1. This should be, in my opinion, a just shout at Marvel saying, "Hey,
this is
Fantastic Four. We want that." You know what I mean?
Or even just like give all your books this kind of feel. Like that one felt like a comic.
Exactly. It was
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, because all this event fatigue, it just seems like they're just constantly trying to recreate the 90s or something all over again. And if I'm not mistaken, is the Marvel 2-in-1 just a simple story, or is it 2-issue story, or what?
No, it's just team up.
Yeah.
No, I know, but like, is it? It's not like
it's going to be a miniseries.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, to me, that's fine. I mean, we've gone back to DC and how everybody's appreciated DC's only doing these 2, 3, maybe 4-issue storylines. I think they need to do stuff like that because, I mean, in my opinion, dude, I like just the very simple story. I don't need like a 25-issue story arc all across the board of 5 different titles.
There's nothing wrong with across 5 different titles is one thing. There's nothing wrong with having a long-going story, a long flowing story through a single title. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Jay said it's supposed to be an ongoing, but
it's solicited as that. But as we know, many things have been solicited as ongoings.
Yeah,
I don't think X actually was solicited as an ongoing.
It's necessarily event fatigue specifically. I think it's just more the fact that they've taken a lot of characters in different directions. They've changed up so much without real good explanation as to why things changed as much as they did. And then expected people to just, like it. And then when people questioned it or wanted to know why they were going that way or had an opinion on it, they were pretty much just like, shut your mouth and buy the comics. That's the way it is. And that's, I think, what really kind of drove people to get a little upset with them, because it was just like, you slap us in the face, or, you have that really like nonchalant attitude. Like, look, we know what we're doing. Just buy the comic. And then when an event did come up and they knew that people weren't going to buy it, they were just like, please just let the story play out. Don't hold your reservation to the end. Just buy the books. Please buy the books. So they had to they went from telling you to do it and being assholes about it to kind of begging people to just stick around for it, and then hoping that people would want these things to, go through. So, I think that they kind of, I think that they have a problem when it comes to just the handling of basically customer service and just kind of criticism in general. Like it's just like they almost the people that field these questions kind of operate as if like they shouldn't have to answer to anybody. And it's just like, dude, you know, when you have a fan base, they are ultimately the masses. You have to at least let them know what's going on.
Absolutely. I jumped over to November. I want to show you guys something. We talk about Spider-Man, and that was we'll go back to it. That's up in the top 10, and you know, but renew your vows is something that a lot of people, you know, with the marriage, you know, everything, you know, with that that brings, everybody loved it, right? You know, it was big. In fact, in November with issue 13, it was number 16. You see it here? It was number 16, which is pretty good. You know, a lot of like the event stuff, you know, Batman, Star Wars, things like that are above it, which is expected. 61,889. That's estimated units to the retailers, right? So we're gonna look for the same book, issue 14 in December. Okay, check this out.
But okay,
There,
go ahead.
okay, there,
Yeah,
there. We don't see it until we get to 102.
Yeah, big drop off.
20,000. That's a nearly 40,000 unit drop.
Time jump.
It's the time jump. It's the legacy. A lot of people.
Change.
What's the person's name? Oh shoot. Oh, who was it?
The writer.
Stegman. Yeah, Stegman was on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stegosaurus.
Yeah, and then it went to somebody else. I don't remember who.
Not good.
But all of that kind of like wrapped up into it being a good jumping off point for people versus like, hey, it's legacy. Let's jump onto it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. That's a massive drop. So if that continues, you know, expect that to maybe last till, I don't know, 18 or 20, I'll say, if that drop continues. Because you know that they want to just continue it enough with any of these really to be able to collect it into a trade. Right.
And you guys have said that the Renew Your Vows has been one of a really good Spider-Man read, hasn't it?
It was until the time jump and the creative change.
They had that 8-year time jump.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was like issue 12 or 13, right around this time frame. And the book just completely changed.
Yeah. So one of the books we know is canceled, I believe, was Generation X, right?
Yeah.
Which is right here, number 80. 24,000, right?
Yep.
That's pretty low if you look at some of the higher numbers up. But then you have other titles: Doctor Strange, Spider-Gwen, Guardians, Black Bolt, Hawkeye. Those are all below it. Few of the Champions is there. Black Panther.
But those are tied to movies, so they're going to keep.
Yeah, exactly. That is also if you go way down, you'll find Black Panther. Black Panther. Actually, no, it's up here. 92, I think it was. Yep, Black Panther 92, 22,000. So yeah, that one. Defenders is there, 95. But I think that's
over now.
That's because Bendis left, I believe. That's pretty much the reason for that.
Punisher at 101, Cable at 103, like and they're all tied to TV shows and movies, and they're still
TV shows, movies, or they're wrapping up to make way for like Infinity Countdown and some of the things like that.
Yeah.
So. There's a couple though. Okay, check this out. It's way down. Where is it? Look at this one. Well, there's Captain Marvel, 131.
Oh wow!
Right.
Doomsday Clock is down there too.
Only 13,000.
Okay.
But we go further down.
This is like older issue, right? So it's like maybe one from November.
8. Yeah. Iceman. Only 11,000. That we know.
Iceman, I think, is one of the ones that got canceled, right?
Yeah, Iceman and Jean Grey are the two like X titles that are canceled.
Right. Which we know Jean Grey is going to go away, but we're getting X-Men Red, so
yeah.
There's Royals, 164 at 10,000.
But it's good. Nobody's reading it, and it's good.
That's true.
Right. But they're keeping Black Bolt, right?
No, I thought they were changing that writer. You know, they were canceling that, and that writer's moving over to like the Exiles book or something.
Exactly. Yeah. What was the other one I was going to show you? Oh, down here. Way down. I'm scrolling. See, it goes all the way to 300. So we're getting pretty far down there. There you go, right there. Why do you think this book at 213 has made it to issue 26 with only just over 7,000 units moved?
So they have a kid book?
It's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
To be honest with you,
this is direct market and direct sales. It doesn't account for digital.
Right.
And they have a very good arm for the Scholastic side, which is the school side. So you got books like Moon Girl, Squirrel Girl, even Captain Marvel. The numbers look really low here, but they keep them because the Scholastic side is really strong. So when you look at some of these numbers and you're like, why would they do that? You know, that's why. It's because this only reflects the direct market, the direct sales.
Saying what? That it's strong in where? In what area?
Scholastic.
Yes,
which is
schools.
Right. Books sold to schools.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, just something if you're looking through this to keep in mind. But
I don't know if Captain Marvel's like sending the right messages to give school children.
Here's one, America 201.
Oh my god.
Just under 8,000. That one's getting axed. I know that, right?
Yep, America's done.
So yeah.
Worst character change ever.
Mm-hmm.
So character was so awesome in Ultimates 2. Her book comes out, trash. Chris, where does it belong?
In the dumpster.
In the garbage.
Right in the trash.
Yeah, that is trash. But yeah, like, you know, look for like of the books you know that are going to be canceled. And I started with Gen X at number 80. Look below that, and you can kind of see if you're reading any of those books, maybe how much of a lifeline that they have left. Like factor in if it's part of like movie marketing. So Black Panther is low, like 22,000, but it's going to continue because it's going to help, you know, hopefully in their eyes, you know, with the movie side, maybe. Also think about where the number is and think about, I think it's like 5 or 6 issues that would be a trade paperback, right? So kind of figure out from there what issue it's on and how many would make the next volume of a collected edition. That was a neat sound.
Yeah, that's my phone. Wife calling. Gotta take this.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, I thought, you know, interesting kind of breakdown there of some stuff. And, you know, this is always a time of year when traditionally the sales are low. And you're going to hear a lot of people being like, oh my God, the numbers are low, you know, 10% dip year over year and all this, like the sky is falling stuff. This is not indicative of a market crash. Okay. So if anybody says that, or you read that in an article, it's not true. It's just typical for this time of year. So yeah.
Whereas like Ninjak's numbers there are actually like pretty good. Like 10,000
right there.
Independent?
Yeah.
Not that horrible.
You know, it's funny that you're showing all this because it kind of goes along with what Tim had said. Tim said that whenever you put Wolverine into something, it'll sell. Somebody had put on Facebook today that back in the 90s when sales were doing low, when sales were selling pretty low, and the example they used was Darkhawk, they would just throw Venom in a title.
Mm-hmm.
And that would boost sales. And, you know, I never thought about that. I found that to be very interesting. And, you know, how they just try so many different things to try to boost sales a little bit. But
Deadpool, I mean, Deadpool's been in everything.
Well, yeah, Deadpool's in everything.
To, you know, boost everything up.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, it's just like anytime, I mean, that's the way it works. They get that formula going. Like, you know, if you go to DC, you know, for a while, you know, Harley was in everything. I mean, now she's, you know, just mainly sticking in her own books and a couple other ones. But for the most part, I mean, for a long time, you know, she was in just about anything they could possibly put her in, you know, and it's just like, you know, that's how they try to do things. I mean, to give Wolverine, I guess, a little bit of credit, like, I mean, he had just had his own book. He didn't have like 8 or 9 different titles of his own, you know, starring him. He was just, you know, in his own book in the X-Men and, you know, gets appearances here and there. But, you know, that I guess is just a trend. If someone's, you know, a little bit popular and can help boost it up, hey, you know what, put them in there, let's see what happens. So
yeah, give it a little breath of life, you know.
Yep, exactly.
Out of it type of thing.
Now, but going back to what we were saying about Renew Your Vows, I saw some stuff that was crazy before the time hop. Renew Your Vows was outselling every other Spider title, including Amazing, which is
we can go back.
Yeah.
Let's look at 10. Whatever month that is.
October.
Thank you. All right. So Deadpool. I don't remember seeing Deadpool there.
Oh, well, never mind. There's Amazing Spider-Man. That person was wrong.
Where? Did I miss? Oh, yeah, right there, number 3. Well, that's issue 789. That was like the big, renumbering issue.
Renumber, yeah.
Yeah.
So go back to like August or something.
Or September.
That's
Spidey's right there. No.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man.
Huh.
Be back.
Oh well, that was wrong info.
No, I'm gonna do July. I'm gonna get a little crazy with it. Skip a month. Is the casting? No. See, number 14 fluctuates. It's in and out of the top 10, but it's always right around there.
Spider-Man 2. That was so bad. That was $4 or $5 that I'll never get back.
It may be one of the first few issues where it was.
Maybe it was
really hot.
It was just everybody was on that like the marriage is back bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think at this point a lot of people are like, cool, okay, marriage, nice, but now we want it in 616.
Exactly.
Like, enough with this Elseworlds type of thing. Let's put it into the main. See, even back here, back to May. So
I think you gotta go back to almost like 2016.
Wow.
Because Renew Your Vows started in 2016.
27. The flagship Spider-Man title was 27th that month.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. U.S. Avengers was number 1 back in January, a year ago.
Wait, but remember
that was the one with all the states on it, right?
Yeah. 50 for everything.
Yeah. So it's cool, to dive into the numbers, and it can be a little tedious, or if you don't like it, maybe it's boring. But I like checking out what's going on there. It's indicative of what to expect in the future, and if you got your favorite titles and you see the numbers dropping, we have a cool thing here, and a lot of people in the live chat here, we have our YouTube channels. It's a great way to talk about the books that we like. You sure, show your book on the haul, but sell the book to people if you like it, especially if you see the numbers dropping, get them to pick it up. It's a cool platform to be able to help something that you like continue along. So that's one of the other benefits to it as well, being here on YouTube, is if you see something you like, you have a way to potentially influence and add a couple readers to it, right?
Yep.
So cool. All right, I think we've dwelled on that long enough. So all right, that's ComiChron. Really cool website, guys. ComiChron.com. Let me go ahead and unshare, which I think I already did. We got a few new people here. Evan's here as well with us. Otaku Dan. I saw Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy. I saw Lords of the Long Box as well, and a few others. Strange X Blade. Yeah, be shouting people out as we continue along here.
Let me just say, Jesse, you should do the comic sales at least once a month. I think that's some interesting info.
Yeah, I like looking at it. I do that as soon as they're available. Try to look through and kind of break it down in my head, like I did with you guys here. So, yeah, if you guys like that, I'll do it.
Good info.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sweet, cool. All right, so the next thing we had on our list of topics, apparently. Well, for a while, it was Sony, everybody really adamant that Spider-Man would not be in the upcoming Venom movie, right? They're like, nope, this is going to be its own thing. If we put into the film, it'll be tied to the MCU. This is not tied to the MCU, yada, yada, yada. So guy goes by the name of John Schnepp. That's his real name. He's over on Collider Movie Talk. Cool guy. He does some neat interviews and stuff. Very knowledgeable. But he said something. He was doing an interview and he basically said he knows that Spider-Man is going to be in Venom. So everyone's like, oh my God, Spider-Man's in Venom. So then he changed it and he said No, that's not quite what I meant. He said Tom Holland, and other people have said this too, was on the set of Venom filming scenes. He was there for a couple days. So when he says that Spider-Man's in the film, what he's actually saying is Tom Holland's Spider-Man, meaning Peter Parker. Basically just a cameo. He doesn't know exactly what it is. He didn't read the script, but he said he knows for a fact that Tom was on the set of Venom and is in some capacity in the film. So that's interesting. If that's true, that means it does actually tie to the MCU, and that goes against pretty much what everybody else has said. Yeah. So this is basically one person saying this. So I do want to tell you to take this with a very massive grain of salt, whether it's true or not. But John Schnepp, he does know people. He has connections. So
I just like to say this. I was the only one who said John Schnepp, if he's right. I was the only one who said it has to contain Spider-Man in some way, shape, or form because Venom is not standalone enough.
Right?
He's not. I swear. Like I've said too. I like Venom as a character. I really do. But he just doesn't have enough to him. I mean, if you really look at it, right? Venom had his time to shine. He was, his own guy and everything. If he was so great and awesome and wonderful, and that was the way it was, why did they create Carnage, another clone off of him? It's just the way it is. Like Venom, just doesn't have it to stand alone. I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing: the only reason why I could see them putting Spider-Man in it is because of the success of Homecoming. Because here's what I don't understand: how old was Peter Parker in Homecoming? He was like 16, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you having a 16-year-old interact with Venom? Because I know when Venom was introduced in the comics, I mean, Peter was at least in college or something like that, right? Yeah. I mean, I just kind of don't get. He's just so young, you know what I'm saying?
How old is Tom Hardy? Like 30s, 30, 40 something? Why are you beefing with a 16-year-old?
Yeah. Tom Holland doesn't even have his job yet at the Daily Bugle to get screwed over by Eddie Brock or anything. It's like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
All I'm saying is Venom, I'm telling you, it goes back to Venom not being a strong enough character to have a series of movies. That's it. Yeah. I'm not saying he can't have one, but he cannot do a series of movies with him.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have enough. The other thing too is Sony's in a weird spot. They were, when they were talking before the whole Fox and Marvel thing, they were actually talking about Sony being in a position of a takeover, being purchased. They were kind of surprised that it didn't happen. One of the execs, there's a quote out there, you can look it up, was saying that they basically thought that they would be the ones to be taking over Sony versus or Sony Pictures versus
they got the most
Fox
character in the universe.
So they're really needing to kind of like do things to bolster their revenue and their sales. Otherwise they're not going to survive in this new market with all these competitors like the Blumhouses and stuff that are coming up and taking all the news. So putting somebody like Tom Holland in the movie, even though you're probably going to massively piss off Marvel, will probably bolster. I think that if people heard that there was Peter Parker in this film versus not, you're going to get a lot more people buying tickets. Whether you like that choice or not, there's going to be a lot more ticket sales from that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
people are going to think that at some point now you're going to have crossover. You're going to be able to have a better story, a bigger story. Is he going to end up in a MCU movie and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. It's just. I mean, it's where you would expect that to go. I mean that's the natural, I guess, order of things. But it's just I don't know. I mean, I feel like Spider-Man, humongous character, and yeah, it'd be great to get him, and basically his whole, gallery of characters back and everything. But I mean, when you look at it, Fox, with Fantastic Four, with the X-Men, I mean, I think you make a bigger splash with that, and there's like a lot more possibilities. I think it really just speaks to where they're trying to go, where it's just like, even though Spider-Man is an awesome character and everything like that, a lot of the villains are just like street level villains. Whereas, you have on the Fantastic Four side, you have Silver Surfer and Galactus. I think that purchase really happened mostly to get those two and the X-Men back into the Marvel universe.
All right. I didn't read a whole bunch of Ultimate anything Marvel. Did Venom show up in Ultimate Universe?
Yeah, actually, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like Lethal Protector. I mean, so
he was a good guy.
Yeah, Ultimate Venom. It had a different backstory. It was like a lab and stuff.
Well, do you think that's going to be what it is in this movie? Because it doesn't seem like it's going to be
that's a good idea.
It's on Peter.
Yeah,
no,
it
could
like
be.
They might go Ultimate.
Yeah,
you know,
they are taking to answer Evan. They are taking from Lethal Protector. We were talking a couple of shows back. I think during the summer there was a casting call for San Francisco Flare people. They were shooting in Atlanta, I think, actually, but they were looking for San Francisco people. Which, if you know the Lethal Protector story, part of it takes place there, right?
Yeah.
So that's where they're pulling at least part of the story from. But yeah, in terms of the backstory, I think that makes, especially if you're trying to keep it separate from from Parker, the way to go in terms of backstory, right?
Yeah, and then in the Ultimate Universe, Parker doesn't actually end up getting past really the high school age. I mean, he dies. I think he's still like around like maybe 17, 18 years old when he dies in the Ultimate Universe, and then Miles Morales takes over for him. So, I mean, it would make sense if they did the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah. All right. So it's a movie. Everybody just remember, it's not the comics. It's its own universe. We can't compare them.
Doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
All right. And as with the other stuff, we'll bring it to you when we find out. So, all right. So the next thing, finally, we learn a little bit more, kind of, sort of, not really, about Solo, a Star Wars story. They released a description of it, which is very generic. It just tells us a little bit. It says some words without really saying anything with the words. So it says, board the Millennium Falcon and journey to a galaxy far, far away in Solo, a Star Wars story. An all-new adventure with the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot, Chewbacca, and encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian in a journey that will set the course of one of the Star Wars saga's most unlikely heroes. So it sounds very bland and generic, but we do learn here, and I guess that this was on my wish list for things that I wanted to find out how he met Lando, also how he kind of met Chewie and how they became such good friends. So that's kind of the part that I've pulled out of it as new for me, as confirmed anyways. But above and beyond that, it's just generic wording, right?
Well, they're just gonna try to throw everybody in there and just be like, all right, this is go out and see it. There's Lando, there's this, there's that. I don't really know what more to expect from it other than just meeting the characters. I mean, I think that a lot of it is being left up in the air on purpose because I think that they're worried about backlash. So who knows?
Backlash.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Wildcats?
No, he was in Stormwatch.
There you go. Stormwatch.
Created by Brett Booth. What?
That's a cool character.
I've got a whole run.
I mean, you gotta figure you're doing a Star Wars story about one of the big three in that universe. It's just like you have to be worried that people are gonna not embrace it because this is that's not my Han Solo. Like
people are already not embracing it.
Of course, because I mean, and I can understand that, I guess. When it comes to people still being upset about the movie, which I think is stupid, but hey, everybody get their own opinion. But I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, I think that they would have been better suited to do a different character, a different type of story, just to kind of build up to putting those characters into their own solo stories and origins or whatever you want to do with those. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's going to be a movie that they put out, and I think that Disney is going to have to take a look at themselves and say, I mean, if it doesn't do well, this is like, okay, what are we doing? We're putting out a movie every single year. We said that's what we're going to do, but if we're just going to put out a bunch of garbage, then we got to start over again. So I mean, and Rogue One was good. I just think that at this point, it's kind of a just. You got to fill it out, whether it's just going to be, butthurt fans who are just going to, pretty much shit on everything just because they're still mad about The Last Jedi, or if it really truly isn't up to the power and quality that it should be. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll see either way. I want to see what it's all about. But
Yeah, for
It is a little soon though after we just lost Han Solo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny because they announced it and they were just like, yeah, no, we're gonna get right to the production. I was like, what? But I mean, we'd much rather have a Boba Fett story or a Yoda story or something that makes just get one of those like more mysterious characters out of the way. Not with someone that yeah, all right, you've seen them in just about every movie, or you've seen him in all the the original trilogy and then these ones, and now he's dead. But guess what? He's back just because everyone got sad when he died. It's just like, yeah.
I want the story about how the Bothans got the plans for the second Death Star.
Yeah. I mean, that would have made sense for them to do that one.
I don't know. Just
following up.
Yeah, for the second one.
Oh, what do you mean? The story behind how they
got those plans too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Emperor kind of
talked about it.
Like, he let them have it.
Yeah. But I want the story.
Well,
before this movie,
many Bothan spies died.
Yeah.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Right, and that's all she said.
Like, wow. I was actually, I would like to see something more about that because the Bothans are like their Green Beret unit, like they're the guys that go in and so they should do some stories with them. You know what I mean? Like some really good undercover stuff like that. Like that, I think those would be some fun movies to watch.
I think Disney's being very cautious right now, and they're sort of, I don't want to use the word afraid, but they don't want to kind of venture too far away from, the Skywalker saga, the familiarity of those characters. That's why they're not doing like, I can't think of anything specific. Like, I don't know, but they're sticking with these characters right now. If they kind of follow along with Rogue One, if that's sort of a pattern that they're going to use, it seems like this movie might butt up against like A New Hope. Like at the end, there's going to be Han in a cantina, near Docking Bay 94, and Greedo's looking for him and stuff. Yeah, kind of like how that movie ended with Vader, chasing after Leia. So I wonder if that will happen too. But the other thing interesting with this is the 19th, right? Yep, it's almost February. This movie comes out in May, at the end of May.
Wow. Yeah.
And we haven't had a trailer yet.
No.
That's not a good sign.
Right? Usually they release a trailer.
At least a teaser.
That's what the Super Bowl's for.
They do like Celebration, the big event.
Yeah.
And then some other stuff. The marketing campaign picks up from there. There's like May the 4th and stuff. What's the other one? Force Friday, I think it's called. Something like that. Anyways, but usually the marketing campaign is a good half a year in by now on these Star Wars movies, but nothing. So interesting. So I was looking through my my books, kind of organizing stuff, and just wondering, is this run done or not? I was trying to decide if I was done with it or not. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you're collecting a full run, assuming, when do you consider a run complete? Is it when you have all of just the cover A's? Do you need the annuals, the A's and the B's, the variants? Like, what is your take on that?
Jesus.
Mine is just like, I just want each number in the series. Variant. When I'm thinking about a run, variants don't play a factor into it all. Variants are completely separate from me collecting and wanting to read a run or something,
Right.
Unless you're, I guess, depending on what it is. If you're collecting a specific artist, like I'm a big Scotty Young fan, so it's just like, I guess you could look at that as like, if you're a cover collector and you're just collecting, and you want to get all the Scotty Young covers, I guess, like that, you can consider that a run or something like that. Or for me, I don't know, I would break it up into, I guess, it depends on what it is. Are you basically trying to collect a certain story, or are you trying to just basically complete the entire series? Because that's the only way I would have to weigh in on that one. I know for myself, there's a couple of runs within, like story runs, or creative team runs within a couple of titles that I'd like to complete and consider that the run. But as far as the actual completing the series, though, I guess it's when you have all the books. I mean, I don't know if you need variants. I guess if you desire to have the annuals, it's up to you.
That's the difference. You said it. That's the difference. You said series.
Yeah.
Are you just trying to get the whole? Because a run, 1 through 5, that's a run.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, what is it that you're looking like for you to, I guess, consider it complete? I mean, are you trying to collect an entire series or just a few books within it or something?
What? In your opinion?
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. What? Like we're asking you the question.
Yeah. No. For me personally, I mean, I just go by either. I mean, for me, there's a bunch of different factors. If it's a creative team run, like for instance, the John Byrne, Chris Claremont run with the X-Men, I want to collect that. So, I mean, that for me is a run within a run, and I just try to get a lot of the that series as well. But then there's other ones that like I just want to have like I guess I would say Captain Marvel like Marvel. The Thanos War. So it's like issues, I think it's like 25 to like 32. That's around I want to pick
like stories more so than complete runs.
Yeah. Like I focus on stories more than a complete run. I guess. I mean, there's a couple series I would like to complete all the way, but I think sticking with a story is basically the way I go about it.
Okay. Oh no, Evan said you got to include all annuals and crossovers too.
Wow.
Jeez.
I mean, and then Strange Blade said some runs have tie-ins with other titles, so you have to get those also.
Well, Rag said it right. I mean, if you're a completist, you're gonna try to get everything. But
I'm so glad I'm not a completist.
I know, right?
Yeah. So yeah, for me, tie-ins don't count. I do count annuals in the run, and then kind of like especially with DC right now, it doesn't matter if it's the A or the B cover. Like Justin said, as long as I have that issue number in some capacity. Right. So I get all those through. And then for the variants, that's just extra stuff. So for me, it's just each of the numbers, including the annuals, and then I'm done. So other sub-series or tie-ins and things like that are just other runs. So that's kind of how I see it. But
I can see that.
Yeah. So all right, cool. So everybody is saying different things in the chat.
It's a real subjective question. I mean, a
a
lot of people will tell you different things. I mean, it just
it was an opinion question.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's just how you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think collecting a run, that's where I think you have the most fun with comics. I think that kind of gets you more into just the whole digging into the long boxes aspect of it. I mean, that at least is for me, because just like you get in, you're like, oh, I don't have this one. This is let me just grab this. You know what I mean? Like I think that's as opposed to like just kind of picking up keys here and there, or buying for covers and stuff like that. I think that going for a series, a story run, it is kind of fun like that. But then also too, I mean, if you're into certain artist covers and stuff like that, I mean, coming across some of those in the shop is pretty fun as well. So I think that's the ultimate thrill of a run, whether it's for artistic purposes, whether it's for story purposes, whatever. It's just the thrill of being able to find those books as you're seeking out and hunting through boxes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Thomas Churchill said something. He said, with the variants, does that include second and third prints as well?
Jesus.
For me,
if you want to spend a lot of money, go for it.
Well, for me, with the issues, I would really want the first printing. I would consider it almost complete if I had the second print. I really do like to have the first print. I know, like the subsequent printings a lot of times have lower print runs. So I don't know where it's just something that I've always kind of had in my head where I just want the first printing for it. So
let me ask you guys this: how many Walking Dead #1s are out there?
I don't know.
Have you guys been keeping track?
Not sure.
Each con has one, and there's just
Wizard World does one like every con they make, right?
Yep.
So those are pretty great. So yeah, the other thing was, I don't always just collect the run. Like a lot of times I'll just pick up like the story arc, and that crosses over through different titles. And in a case like that, like I'm trying to think of a good one.
Dawn.
There you go. Yeah, that goes through multiple titles. So I would get all of those issues.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what title it came from. I would just want,
if they all have the banner that says this story arc part whatever, sure.
Yeah, or they all have the little holographic card like Fatal Attractions.
Oh yeah, let's
go. Damn good story. Let me tell you, I like that story.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because I guess for crossover reasons, Brian B actually made a good point. He said if you have Warlock issues 9 to 15, you'll be really annoyed that you don't have Avengers Annual 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2, just because it all contains in that same story. So yeah, I can see how some of the crossovers make sense from time to time. I think that a lot of that though it comes down to like researching what books go with everything. If you're gonna collect crossover books, just like you said, Fatal Attraction is easy. It's just like, oh yeah, look for this little hologram. There we go. I mean, I think another one that was kind of weird was if you guys remember, it was in the 90s, Acts of Vengeance. That went across a bunch of different titles.
Oh yeah, all the X titles.
But like Iron Man was involved, the X-Men were involved. It was just like, what the hell is all this? Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, if you were just an X-Men fan, then you just have that one issue. But it's just like, yeah, no, you got to go back and buy a whole bunch, just the crossover and get the whole story.
The best of that's Atlantis Attacks, which was only done in the annuals. Yeah, but it's like every annual that came out that year for every character was part of Atlantis Attacks.
Yeah. What? Somebody said something up here. I don't know. Let me find the comment. Seeking Nerman said he must have all of the reprints and the variants.
Oof.
Wow. So I was kind of.
That's what I meant by if you want to spend a lot of money, go.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was kind of in that same boat until about 2015 when the new Marvel Star Wars came out, and there was literally about 70 different variants for that first issue.
Yep.
I just threw my hands up and said, you know what? I give up. I cannot keep up with that. I'm not even going to try anymore. I'll just get what I want, and I'll be happy with that. Whatever I can get. Right. Not worry about what I can't get.
I'm probably spending $600 on one book.
Yeah, it was that one issue that just told me I give up.
Well, that's like was it US Avengers? If you bought all 50, covers, what was it, 51 covers? It's just like, I mean, that's a little bit excessive. It's just like, I mean, it's cool. It looks cool if you have all 50 of them, and you're like, oh, I have the entire United States in here. But it's just like, you also spent a lot of money, But I mean, if you got the money to do it with, hey, go for it,
Yeah, exactly. If that's your thing, then cool, have at it. But I'm not doing it. Evan's got the right idea. He does Golden Age. He doesn't have to even worry about any of that. So he just gets the issue and he's done, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then Brian, I was talking about Star Wars. I mentioned the 70. He says that there are over 100 now. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's just and it's funny too because it's just you look at, like I said, US Avengers and stuff. I mean, it's 50 different variants or 51 or whatever it is variants. But I mean, if you look at if you're gonna say print run on the book, it's ridiculous. So I mean, when you think about it, it's just like and that's what makes it tough with some of the collecting like that. It's just like in 30 years, no one's gonna be sitting there saying like, oh, I wonder, that's a real book. I don't know about that. It's like, no, there's literally 50 covers. Like take your pick, whichever one you want, go ahead and grab because it doesn't really make a difference. That book is gonna just be out forever. Just like how people complain about X-Men #1, the Jim Lee one where like, oh, there's all these different covers, biggest selling book ever. It's not gonna be worth a lot of money ever because you can find it anywhere. I mean, my one of my local shops gives it out every free comic book day. I have about 4 covers of it just because they just give it out. Yeah, I'll take it every time. I'm like, dude, yes, absolutely. That and the X-Men Annual #10. I have about 3 of those just because the guy keeps giving them out. I'm like, yeah, it's like, keep them coming. I'll take them all day.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting question because as many people as there are here, there are different answers, right? And they're all right answers. So yeah, definitely pretty interesting. All right. So the next thing we were going to mention was that there are some directors for The Flash, the movie. We've gone through a couple of different ones, but now we have a duo, actually, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They directed Vacation, if you remember, comedy movie, right?
Yep,
the latest one
of National Lampoons.
Right, but they also wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming. They directed and wrote Vacation, but they wrote Horrible Bosses, and they're also writing Rom and Mask movies that are upcoming. But based on that, you can kind of see sort of the direction that they're taking with the Flash movie. Mm-hmm. Like, think about Spidey, like, you know, just coming into his powers, you know, big eye, like, oh my God, this is awesome, you know, type of thing. And I see that kind of the way they're going with Flash for that movie. So light, fun, comedic type of thing. So yeah.
So they're gonna make it like the TV show,
The Flash. I don't know, but yeah. So we'll see what that brings. But when I first saw that and I saw Vacation, I was like, really, you're gonna get the Vacation guys? But then I dug in a little deeper and I saw that they did Spider-Man: Homecoming. They wrote that. So
yeah, I could see that. I think that style though would fit better for a Wally West more so than a Barry Allen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We'll see.
Yeah, not my Flash hashtag.
Yeah, not my. Oh man, that's good stuff. But yeah, I mean, at least they're trying to get it going with all the announcements of like DC films and the shakeups and what they're doing right there. At least they have something that's moving in a positive direction. Hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, we're kind of seeing a little bit of the direction, the way that they're going to be taking the DCEU slowly coming together. You know, with the Flash, and just talk about Batgirl, and you know, a few other things. The Batman. You know, we talked about that last week with Gyllenhaal. So we could talk about that in a second, Evan. It's not on the list, but it is a good question, and I think that this is a good place to kind of chat about that. He's talking about the new policy changes.
Yep.
So we can get through this, and then if you want, we can chat about that for a second, because you know I haven't really talked about that on the film there at all. But so we'll kind of cruise through this. So Spawn, there's a couple new updates for that. There was actually you guys, what is 6 p.m. in California?
9
Eastern time.
9. Oh, sorry, 9. Yeah,
9.
Yeah.
So can somebody do me a huge favor? Either go on Twitter, or I'm sure it's out there by now. But Mark Millar was talking about a kick-ass announcement coming at 6 p.m. LA time. So we're past that now. So I'm curious what that announcement is, whether it was casting or something. I don't know. He was talking about it. Maybe a release date. I don't know. So 6 p.m. LA time. He wants Tessa Thompson to play kick-ass. Did you know that? The girl who played Valkyrie. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what that might be. Also, Liefeld, huh? Nothing yet.
Now 14 hours ago, he said announcement tomorrow at 6 p.m. LA time.
Okay, so maybe he meant Friday.
Maybe.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll bring that to you next week. But Liefeld said any day now for some news on his extreme properties like Bloodstrike. Last I heard was like a year ago.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
I tweeted him. I said, "Yo, what's going on with it? It's been like a year since we heard anything." So he tweeted back and he said, "Any day now." ... So whatever that means. But we did get a little bit of news from Todd McFarlane about the Spawn movie. He did a quick interview with some website, and he said a couple of new things. So we know it's hard R. We know he won't speak. We know he's kind of more in the periphery, and it's going to be more like a cop kind of mystery thing. So he said that there's going to be Sam in the movie, but no Sam, but there is Twitch.
What the hell?
So the movie's kind of going to focus on Twitch, I guess. He said it's going to be somewhere between 90 and 120 minutes. So that's about the length that you can expect from the movie. Okay. And he said it is a hard R. And he said that when looking at Deadpool, he doesn't really consider that like an R movie. That's just like a PG-13 movie with some F-bombs and some butt in it. He said it's too jokey. It's going to be like horror, scary, like, you know, this guy is like freaked out of his mind type of, you know, R movie. And he said that they're really trying to keep the budget small because his intention is to do a part 2 and a part 3. So the less money they spend now means a better ROI potentially, which means more money for future movies. And one of my concerns was he wasn't going to speak, but he said that he would have an outlet to get his voice across. And he said it would be in a manner that will be obvious to comic book people. So what I'm thinking is like a voiceover thing. So you know how they have like the narration, you know, in each of the panels?
Yeah.
Right? I think there's going to be something like a narrator over the movie. It's kind of what I think what that means, but a little bit more about the movie. I don't know.
It seemed to me though, every time Todd opens his mouth about this movie, it sounds worse and worse.
Yeah.
So I'm not on board for the Spawn movie.
Yeah, I think that's across the board. I don't think a lot of people are really excited about it. I mean, I'm a huge Spawn fan, and it's just movie. Yeah, it just
basically.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way: if he had started Spawn out and wrote the book this way, would we know who Spawn is today?
No.
Nope. There you go.
There you go. Exactly.
So I don't know, but yeah, we'll see if anything ever actually happens. I'm more excited about Rob Liefeld doing Bloodstrike.
Yeah, I want that movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's small. The way McFarlane thinks kind of reminds me of what's that show that movie Jessica Scarlett Johansson was in, where she became she took the pill.
Lucy.
Yeah, and at the end, how she just evolved into like this black nothingness.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it reminds me about with McFarlane and Spawn. It's just evolving into like nothingness.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if he's trying to save money to make it, you know, other extra parts to it. I mean, the thing that he has to worry about is that, you know, if people can actually see it, you know, so there will be enough interest for it, part 2 and a part 3, because I mean, if it doesn't make any money, then you're gonna sit there and regret that you didn't go big, you know.
Here's what he's doing. And it's similar to the way I think was it Michael Bay did. Was it No Pain, No Gain with Mark Wahlberg and The Rock? It was one of those gigs where like the guys pretty much work for free or very little, and whatever they get from box office sales, that's what he uses to pay his cast or whatever. Because I think last I heard, he only had like a $10 million budget or something like that. He wanted something low because he wanted to direct it. If some big time producer was going to get involved, that he wasn't going to be able to do it.
That's exactly why he chose Blumhouse, because they're known for low budget horror movies that do really well. So he went after Jason Blumhouse because he wants to keep it like around 10. He said maybe 12 if they have to go extra with CGI and post production, but the target is the 10 million.
So it really sounds like he's making this movie in hopes that the bigger studios will see it and give him money to make an actual Spawn movie.
Yeah, right. That does.
I mean, that could be it too. But I also think, you know, your first mistake is taking either a lesson or you know, following in the direction of Michael Bay. Don't do that. Michael Bay sucks. 100% sucks. He peaked with Bad Boys and that was it. Michael Bay is a horrendous.
Oh, did you hear they're doing Bad Boys with Gabrielle Union?
Wait, what?
On TV? Yeah.
So she's, because I know that she was Martin Lawrence's sister in the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, she's going to be the main. Yeah. So,
but
I like her though.
Bad boys, and not bad people, to be politically correct.
Bad person.
Bad people.
And yeah, I don't know. But yeah.
Bad people. What you gonna do?
Bad people. Bad people. Yeah, no, just
coming for you.
They're coming for you.
But yeah, no, what would be cool though? I mean, if you got, I guess, small, you know, fill-in roles by Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. That would be kind of cool if they just pop in the show every once in a while. Yeah,
but cool. Some cameos.
I wonder, are they gonna have the chief, the guy that was basically one of the Fratelli brothers from the Goonies? That guy, like if he's in there, then I may actually watch it because I like that guy. Ever since the Goonies, he's been, just pretty much he's a funny dude. So like I like the only problem is that he swears a lot in Bad Boys. So I don't know if they can, bringing him back, they have to tone him way down, so he might not be as funny.
Yeah.
But
cool. So yeah, we'll continue bringing you that. Have you guys ever read The Boys, Garth Ennis book?
I've heard of it. I heard it was kind of a cool read. I've never.
It's cool.
Actually read it.
So there's like these vigilantes. They basically go after like the corrupt superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool story. It's a Garth Ennis series. If you like his style, you'll like this. But they're doing a movie. Seth Rogen is one of the people directing it. And they actually announced a bunch of the cast for it. So that's very telling and that they're moving forward with it. It's going to be on Amazon, straight to series drama.
Okay.
And you get a bunch of people, like 5. I think there's like 7 of them in the Boys, which is the group. And they announced like 5 people for it. So most of the cast, the main cast that is set. But yeah, if you guys haven't read The Boys, it's pretty cool. I recommend checking it out.
Cool.
So there is that. All right, let's get into the review. I think that everybody is waiting for us to think about this book. Ice Cream Man.
I was actually pretty surprised by it. I really didn't know what to expect. I just kind of picked it up and started reading it, and really from very early on, it takes a pretty swift turn, and man, it was good. Like I'm kind of. It did enough to make me want to pick up issue number 2. Without getting into any specifics just yet, but yeah. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a good book.
To me, it read just like a script treatment for a mid to late 90s TV show.
Yeah. I definitely got hints of like was it Outer Limits or Tales from the Dark Side? It seemed just like that, like one of those almost like Twilight Zone-ish, like self-contained, little small horror stories that kind of wraps up and then just kind of like it was good. Like I liked it. I thought it was done well.
Yeah, it was definitely surprising right at the beginning. I'm halfway through it. I didn't get a chance to finish it because by the time the poll had ended, I had a lot of stuff to do toward the end of the day. But what I've read so far, and I got to the part to where he saw the Ice Cream Man in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I got. But still, with the kid and his parents, I won't spoil it. But man, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool story. I liked it. It was a really quick read. Yeah. I definitely liked it. I don't want to, Justin, you had a comparison. I'll let you say what that was, but I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
To a particular show.
Yeah. It was, to me, completely without question, this could have easily been an episode in season 1 or season 2 of the X-Files.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Replacing 2 detectives with Mulder and Scully. It's an X-Files story.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It reminded me of like It,
Mm-hmm.
with the clown and stuff, controlling the evil in town and stuff like that. So I thought,
did you guys catch the name of the town?
Pleasant something.
St. Generous.
There, yeah.
So the whole town's got craziness going on. They could turn the whole series into just like the town's
if anybody hasn't read it,
Indian burial ground or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was. And that's what I was thinking. It's just like what would be kind of cool would be if they kind of did it like if they kind of did it almost like a maybe like an X-Files type deal, or if they did it like kind of one of those creep show type things where it's just like you have your one self-contained story, it's all happening in this town, and then you just find out that the Ice Cream Man's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more crazy shit going down. I thought it was really done awesomely though. And I one of my favorite parts in the book is towards the end where the one of the detectives is hanging out with the little boy from the beginning, in the back, and he's just like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "My name's Byron." He just goes, "Fuck you, Byron," just because all the trouble that's been caused. Like he's just like, it was cool. But like I definitely recommend this book. But like you know, just if you're looking for something a little different, definitely something fun to read.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit too of like Crypt Keeper type of story, or like Goosebumps, you know, that type of thing. Yeah, exactly. So it was cool. If I had to say something I would improve about it, though, I think the art for me was a little bit too bright and simplistic. Not that I'm not saying it was bad, but I think for the style of story, my personal taste would have been to have something a little bit darker and maybe a little bit more detailed.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I mean,
this felt like we only got the surface of the story, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We didn't get any actual big details. They haven't done like the investigation into what's going on yet with, you know, V5, our detective, who is 5V, was that it? Or V5? Can't remember. 5V?
5V.
She's got five vowels in her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hood Trooper said Trick or Treat vibe. That's a cool movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me,
but the book changes a couple times throughout, though, because as you're reading it, you know, it's called Ice Cream Man. We get the scenes with the Ice Cream Man giving the kids ice cream at the beginning. You don't really, I mean, whatever. And then it switches to the kid, and you're like, what? And then it switches even more to some other stuff, and you're like, where did this just went crazy?
I mean, but he did remind me of Pennywise when he's talking to that kid in the beginning. I mean, he's like, and you know, he's like,
lickety split.
You know, yeah, he's like, oh, it's like, you know, and where's your parents today? He's like, I'm a big boy. He's like, all right. He's like, what do you want? And then like, you know, and then the kid just skips on home, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh wow, like, you know, figure out. You know, and it's funny because he puts a clothespin right on his nose. And it's like, what the fuck is this kid doing that? And I was like, oh,
I knew it. As soon as he did that.
Yeah.
But I just like how calm he is walking into houses. I mean, and he just keeps on acting like they're still alive. He talks to them, everything.
That was the problem. That was why they were talking about shipping him off to a mental institution, because he's detached from reality.
Right.
He's compartmentalized that into, well, they're just sitting at the kitchen table. They'll get up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So they missed mac and cheese night or something like that. He said.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just, you know, it was like he was definitely a strange little kid. He wasn't your average, you know, just, you know, regular kid playing outside. Like, and it's just
his best friend was a spider.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know,
the most poisonous spider in the world.
Yeah, and he's just like, you know, he just doesn't like adults. So it's just like, so did the spider bite his parents and kill them? Or what's the? I mean, there's a lot of questions that you need to have answered, and even beyond that, you know, when they were at the police station, they're talking about, you know, this woman brought in basically a skeleton of her cat, and she's like, and he's like, all right, so, and they do a police sketch drawing, and it's like, so this is our main suspect, and it's basically the wolf man, and he's just like, and they don't take the woman seriously at all, and then like as she's leaving, he just goes, she's like, poor Mr. Buttersworth. He's like, what type of person names the last name of their cat something different from their own last name? And it was just like, you know, so they completely didn't believe her or anything. And it was just like, you know, there's a lot of crazy shit going on. And you know, like I said, it's just tip of the iceberg. So I think from a writing standpoint, it's done really well. I think that I can agree with Jesse where, like, you know, it could use a little bit more stronger on the art side. It would be kind of cool to see a better artist take on this book. But you never know. I mean, maybe this introductory issue, like maybe he, you know, has a better style going forward. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of felt like I was like getting into the story and like learning who the characters were, and then boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess that's indicative of a good story because I was like into it like that, and then all of a sudden it ended. But yeah.
Well, and one of the good points I want to make is it's a pretty long issue. Like it's not your typical.
There's no ads.
Yeah, there's nothing.
No. What I'm saying is like most comics now are 20 pages, 22 max. I mean, this was like, you know, what, 40, 30 something pages.
Honestly, I didn't even really notice because I mean, I just flew through the story.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I count the pages because I just hate getting ripped off. But
yeah. So, what would you, out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5. I think it was good. Like, I mean, I think it does enough to introduce you to their world. I mean, very, 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 slightly introduce you to their world and leaves you wanting so much more, because it's like I want to know what else is going on there. Like I almost want to hear that the whole place is just this big supernatural or just big crazy evil spot. Like I want to find out that there's a lot more going on there than what I've just seen. Like I want to get deeper into the story. Cool. So
you're saying if people should happen across it, pick it up.
Yeah.
Pretty low print run, even though it's through Image. I think a lot of shops maybe didn't get it. Combined with the fact that a lot of people are looking for it, at this point it might be hard for you to find it. But if you do,
go ahead. They have a lot of the variant in my store. I got the cover A, but there was a lot of cover B in my local shop.
I got the last one at my shop. I don't know if they weren't open yesterday, so they couldn't. I mean, I don't know if they just didn't order a lot, which is weird. But I got the last one at my shop, and I was there not long after they opened. But I would say rating-wise, let me jump in and give mine. I read it. I want to know what's happening in issue 2. So that right there speaks very, 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 very well for the issue. Art was on the weak side, like we've talked about. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess it kind of worked for the story, maybe, for my taste. So I'd give it a 4. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It got me to want the second issue. So there you go.
Yeah, even though I've read the whole thing, I still give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, cool. I give it. I'm with Justin actually. 4, solid 4 out of 5. If they had upped the art a little bit, it would have been higher. That was the thing for me. The strong point with this was the story.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you like horror. If you like, werewolves and poisonous things, then go ahead and pick it up, or demon people. Yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely like some of my friends that dug X-Files back in the day. I'm gonna hand this book to them this weekend and just say, hey, read this real quick. Tell me what you think about it, and see if they get that kind of same feeling from it and everything. Good experimental book.
Yeah, exactly. I know they're trolling, but they said if you guys read something called Ice Cream Man, that says a lot. He is stupid. It's a cool book, man. It's weird. And it is marketed as a horror book, so you don't just say, hey, Ice Cream Man, that sounds like something. You read the solicit and find out what it's about and say, hey, the description sounds interesting.
Right.
That's how you know to pick it up.
Let's take one of the most beloved childhood memories you could have.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when at the beginning, I thought is he gonna like just kidnap kids or something? So I was just my mind just kind of went out there and started thinking like he was gonna just kidnap kids or something.
No, he didn't. I mean, he didn't kidnap anybody. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. It wasn't like that. It was just he himself is just he's a strange guy, and even when you see him, and he's in different spots and just. Later on when you see him and he's all kind of torn up and everything, he's still kind of a strange character, and it's like you don't quite still know what's going on with him. And I mean,
I like how he quickly just like tried to play it off, like, oh, well, here's some ice cream.
Exactly. Like, here you go. But I mean, there might be something to that, though. You know what I mean? Like maybe him, I think there's something sinister to the ice cream. I think it might have something to do with trying, to control the kids or something like that, or trying to control people's minds, or trying to, you know what I mean? I don't think it's just, I don't think that's just an elaborate cub. I don't think it's just his cub.
He's definitely more than just a ice cream man werewolf.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think that might be partially. I mean, who knows? I mean, if he's got magic to change things to ice cream, who knows what you're actually eating? Like maybe he's disposing of evidence of some of the murders through you, and like, oh, it's ice cream. Go ahead and eat it, and then but you don't know what you're actually consuming.
Soylent Green is people.
Oh, God, yeah. All right, cool. So so we're pretty much right around the 4 or 5 star range. So that's pretty good in terms of the quality for it. So Cool. So we got a couple minutes left. Some people have asked about it, and that is, what do you guys think about the new policies for YouTube? So if you guys don't know, that they changed a couple of things, I guess because of Logan Paul. That's what people are saying. They went back and changed something. Yeah, but well, starting now, if you're newly applying to be a YouTube partner, there's a couple of requirements, which are you need at least 1,000 subscribers, and I believe it's 4,000 hours of watch time within the past 12 months.
Yep.
If you're already a partner, you have a grace period until the end of February. I believe it's February 20th. If you don't meet those requirements, they'll unpartner you and demonetize you. So that's what the changes are. I think for most people, especially here in our community, that either you weren't qualifying anyways, or you were literally making pennies to where it shouldn't matter to you one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's my thing though. It's like the 1,000 subs thing. Yeah, that's what it is. You can get there, you cannot get there. It is what it is. The 4,000 hours of views
in a month,
that's going to kill a lot of people that even have a lot of subs.
Yeah,
that's a ton. That's like
4,000 in a year.
Well, that's like if you had one video that was 10 minutes long, you'd need 2,400 people to watch it all the way through. No.
Yeah. Well, you basically have to have people watching your videos for about, a little more than 100 hours a day, right?
Yep.
Like that. Oh no, a little more than 10 hours a day. That's a lot of time. That's basically half of the day. It's just under that. For me, I'm not worried about the 1,000 subs. None of that was gonna influence me with anything. I think that, but if they're using the excuse as we're doing this because of Logan Paul, what does that even matter? Like, punish him. He's the source of it all. Nobody else should suffer for his stupidity. And on top of that, I think
it's part of it at least is so that they can focus whatever manpower they have on some of those other
and that's
higher reach channels, right? So
that's what they said they're going to do is they're going to hire 10,000 people. They're going to hire 10,000 people to manually watch and review the upper echelon, top tier 1% YouTubers videos and make sure they're okay.
That's perfectly fine.
Wow.
I can do that. I just sit there and put them on mute and just leave it on in the background and be like, all right, I thought it was good. Like, this guy did great things, and pay me my money.
No, you have to go to Google and work, Chris.
That's fine.
They're hiring 10,000 people to come in and watch videos throughout the day.
That's easy.
He's gonna have a whole center set up in his backyard with people.
I work for Google.
No, but I don't want to move over there.
So then it has nothing to do with Logan Paul and his foolishness. Because honestly, I look at that, and if that's, I guess, part of the cause or part of the reasoning for it, and it's just like it's a very stupid reason to do it in that way. Because
it's all about just giving the advertisers more control, realistically, more so than anything.
Because they could have, if their concern was like, oh, his content was, but they could have stopped that at any point. Like they allowed him to do what he was going to do, and they knew it was going to be, controversial and get lots of views. And then they're like, oh, and now we're going to take it away from you because you're a jerk.
Well, they didn't take his channel away. They didn't hurt his. They took him down from like tier 1 to tier 2 or something like that. But he'll be back up. Like even all this new stuff that does not affect his channel at all. So the person who has caused this, whatever, if you want to say it is, if it's his fault, he's not actually getting punished for it. So
it's
whatever.
Funny, a lot of these, if you look at YouTube, so Aaron Paul was a tier 1, PewDiePie was a tier 1, and both of them have done really like messed up things in the past like year or so that have pretty much had YouTube have to like backtrack and like, oh, like you can't keep doing this. This is not good.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's just like it's not fair to like other people coming up though. It's just like if you're up and comer and let's say you're a YouTube sensation, but you're not going to get the amount of hours, or you're just under the 1,000 subs. It's just like you're on your way to be. The way it's set up now, you're on your way to making money and being professional. And now it's just like, now what do you do? Because if you were banking on that, which none of us are, but if you were, that might cripple you. And it's like, now what do I do?
No, comics and stuff. Jose actually made a video about this yesterday too. He was talking about it, and I liked his like kind of spin on it of, you know, hey, they've changed the criteria. If you want to do this, here's your new bar. Step your game up.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. What can you do different? What can you improve?
Right.
You know, even if it's like one little thing each video you make, you know,
so
just work on your game basically.
Yeah. Don't take it as a negative step. Take it as a step to improve your channel, improve what you're doing. Like work on collabs with other people, you know, whatever you want to do. Right. If this is something that you feel that you can do and you can make money at it at some point, then keep going.
Well, Justin,
don't worry about it.
You had talked about this before. At what, like, how many subs? Well, before all this new policy came into place, how many subs and views did you need to get in order to actually consider that to be a means of living?
In the 35,000 to 55,000 subscriber range would get you, if you know, taking into account that your subscribers normally only account for about 40 to 50% of your views. So if you're at that number of subscribers, per whatever that would come out to, but it basically breaks down to you get a few dollars per every 3,000 views.
Okay.
So think about that. Do the multiplication, and if you want to make a living at YouTube, you need to be doing what the big guys are doing, where you're putting out a video or two a day, and each of those videos are accruing over a couple hundred views a week. You know what I'm saying? Every video is.
Or you just have video of people like falling down or some shit like
that. But remember though, this doesn't bode well for people that do short videos. If you do, 1 to 2 minute, 3 minute videos, this is not gonna. You're gonna need so many more.
A lot of views exactly on that one video.
Right. So I would predict we're gonna start seeing a lot longer videos coming out, which advertisers want because they can plug in more breaks in those. Plus, I can see that we're also probably going to see a lot more live shows or people just doing their normal videos that they would have done anyway. They're just going to change it to a live show and let it run longer than they normally would. You know,
that's a lot of people falling down.
Yeah, so
falling down.
We got to clear up a couple things here. So this is just meaning that you're not going to be able to monetize your video. It's not going to prevent you from live streaming. It's not going to prevent you from uploading. It's not going to prevent you from, making the videos that you've been making. Yeah. The only difference is you're not going to be able to read the little YouTube partner when you go to your, what do they call it? Their creator studio area, and then it's going to be yellow, it's going to say not monetized, or instead of green when you look at your video thing. And that's it. Cool. Yeah, there's no limit on upload time, I don't believe. But one of the other things is just generally be in good standing, with the different. If you look, they have all these different community guidelines and upload guidelines, around like copyright strikes and community strikes and things like that. So, just mind those and work your way, improve stuff. Right. Plus, work on your channel, work on your video. Just
Plus, guys, I mean, think about it. This is just another step toward there being more options, which Amazon now has Amazon Tube that we can all move over there at some point. Vimeo. I mean, there are other options out there. Especially for the people that were getting really close. Like there's, tons of people, you see a ton of people popping up videos now. Oh, I just wanted to remind everybody I have a Patreon.
Yeah. Actually, you know who makes a killing on those type of videos? So that there's a bunch of people that, play video games. And I mean, like just gaming and different stuff. And they have Patreon and people just go nuts for it, especially women. Like, I mean, they get donations like it's going on a style. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I mean, it's just like,
is it really? Haven't you seen that happen at every bar you've ever gone to?
No, I realize. I'm just saying. It's just like
just because she's hot.
I'm just thinking in general. It's just like just people playing video games, and someone's like, "Yeah, man, I got a Patreon. If you want to, if you want me to keep making this good content, go ahead and donate there." And people will do it, just to kind of. I mean, basically, if you're a likable personality and you can, get yourself in there, and make good stuff. People will help you out. I mean, the communities like to have, they like to have you, participate. So, like everyone's saying, it's not necessarily it's not a negative. I think that initially, the initial reasoning for it was, when it was thought to be Logan Paul, it's just stupid. But other than that, I mean, I'm not worried about it. My channel's never gonna get monetized. I just, I just make this stuff for you guys. I really have no desire to be a YouTube sensation or anything like that, and it wouldn't work out. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
Like that. So it's all right.
Also, I'm laughing at Conley Flaw. He's gonna start. Yeah. He's gonna start doing MySpace again.
Be a MySpace star.
Oh yeah,
a couple years late on that, but yeah, he could do it.
That's the other thing is YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook. Facebook's gonna have their own, like they got their video thing, which we're gonna soon be able to set up like this too.
FaceTube.
Yes, everything's a tube.
That's right.
And then Splash Page is gonna change his name to Buck Naked Comics. Oh man,
then you'll probably get demonetized like I do anytime you upload.
Yeah.
Get this out.
Justin, you said 4,000 hours. I thought it was 4,000 views.
No, 4,000 hours.
It's hours of watch time.
No, because you take 4,000 hours divided by 365. That's like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude.
Nobody's gonna watch 10 hours of
it. It happens. Like, think about it though. Just think about it. All right, we'll just use the two big guys, Comic Story and Comics Explain. Take a look at their videos, and I mean, we can't see their duration, but all their videos are 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes long, right?
Oh, you're talking about everything together.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But still, golly, man, I don't know, man.
That's really difficult. That's a difficult goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for me.
Might as well just throw in the towel.
What?
What?
Towel.
Don't
no.
Okay. Excuse me.
Let's be real. Let's be real. None of us were making money off this damn shit anyway.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter.
You change your channel drastically. No one cares about comics like that. I'm sorry. Like, I understand that. Like, I have fun doing this, and I love throwing off my book and see what other people got going on. But I'm sorry. Like, I mean, the comic movies might be huge, and they might. But
no.
No one of us is going to make any sort of like serious, real money doing this shit.
Exactly.
If I wanted to make money on YouTube, I'd start doing like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon cards. Yeah, those channels get views like crazy.
Exactly. I mean, there's other ways to do it, but I mean, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to talk with people about comics and stuff like that. So.
Hang out, have fun, have this be another part of the hobby, just chill. Yeah. So for most people, it's just going to be business as usual. Just keep doing your thing and you won't even be affected. You won't even notice it really.
Nope.
So, you hear all these people all up in arms. It's like the new adpocalypse, but it's really not.
Imagine that.
Anything you'll notice.
If Adam does that and all of a sudden it's like, this guy has 10,000 hours of, we need to get him on. This Buckshot guy is great. Like,
wow, this guy really likes Buckshot.
Make money. All of a sudden, hey guys, I'm here for my own island that I bought off of my YouTube money.
Well, that's what the guys are talking about. They're talking about creating dummy accounts and just playing their own videos.
I have access to a couple colos with several thousand machines in them all running. I could have every machine.
You should have been doing that, man.
Oh, good Lord. All of a sudden you have like 150,000 views on your next video.
Right. Have them click every ad that comes by.
Oh my God, that was a spike. Yeah. All right, cool. So this isn't going to affect most people, and if it is something that you are concerned about, like Justin said, like Jose said yesterday, comics and stuff, like we're saying to you right now, think about what you're doing with your channel and be honest with yourself. What can you improve? What can you do better? What can you work on or do differently? Look at, some channels that maybe you look up to or you watch all the time. And what do you like about those? And try to incorporate some of those best things into what you do, and then work your way towards your goal if that's a goal for you. So, so there you go. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're right up to 10:30 here Eastern, right around our standard stopping time. So final
Thought outs.
Thought outs and shots. No, final shout outs and thoughts.
Just want to thank everybody for watching. It's been fun. Yeah. Had a pretty good amount of people watching the show. I think at one point we were up to 30, which is good. Good to see everybody having some fun and just talking about all these comics. And just for me, just stay tuned. I have some stuff coming up. It's just coming together a little slowly, so but I will have some content up. I'll have my top 10 list up, as well as some new books I picked up, and some back issues and things like that. So I have a bunch of stuff going on, but it's just gonna take a little bit for me to get it all caught up and everything like that. But other than that, man, it's been fun talking to you guys. So thank you guys for stopping by, and see you again next week.
Yeah, sweet, cool. All right, Justin.
Yeah. Oh no, good.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
We step on everybody. Big shout out to everybody who showed up. This was a lot of fun. We covered a ton of topics, talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah. As usual, it was a really great time. So again, thank you for everybody who showed up in the chat. I'm not going to name everybody, but we talked to everybody. It seems like we talked to everybody throughout the week anyway. So thanks for showing up, guys. I hope you're able to find everything y'all wanted at your shop this week. And keep looking for those keys. Not the keys that everybody else is looking for. Look for your own keys.
That's right.
There you go.
Exactly.
To answer Splash Page Comics, hey, no, I'm not going to do that. Maybe a Hulk 181. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, thanks everybody for stopping by. I will see everybody tomorrow on Freestyle Friday, where I'll be giving away a free comic book. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm pretty sure I got something I can find. So
bring your best rhymes.
Best rhymes.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, definitely check him out Friday. Check out Justin on Sunday. And Buckshot's got some hauls in the queue ready to upload. So be on the lookout for those as well. I'm going to a thing called a Super Toy Show this weekend, so that should be fun. They got a couple of the people from G.I. Joe that'll be there.
Oh, nice.
I think that they're doing something for the Toys That Made Us documentary next season. Nice. So I'm gonna see what I can do about that. Then maybe make a video. We'll see. But that's pretty much it, guys. That is episode 70. We'll be back next week. And yes, I have to do it as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat, even Amazing Murphinator, who just got here as I was about to hit the stop broadcast button. But I guess what they say is better late than never. Anyways, guys, go be with your families. And I have to go watch Black Lightning. We're going to talk about that next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.